Welcome to your weekly dose of horror news and fun. This is episode 27 of TerrorVision Horror Podcast. I'm your host, Dan McGuinness, and joining me as always is my co-host, Jennifer, the Dream Warrior Strand, which is her last name. Together we are two people with a love of horror and feel the burn of our obsolete Blockbuster memberships or Focus Video memberships, or my
Video, Movieland.
Yeah, or my one that was just at my local shops when I was growing up. Who knows what it was?
McLaren Vale Video Shop.
Oh, Flagstaff Hill.
I grew up in McLaren Vale, man.
Oh, sorry. You can catch us weekly on all major podcasting services and on the YouTube. Now, we want to know how our weeks have been. How's your week been, Jen?
The YouTube. I love it. You're such a dad. My week's been busy. I'm so tired. What have I done this week? So, just a very busy work week. I watched the new Craft movie.
Oh, I thought about watching the new Craft film, but then I didn't.
Yeah.
What did
I didn't hate it. I feel that as a 35-year-old who really loved the original, because it came out at the right time for me.
Yep, you were the target audience.
I was the target audience. But also, I don't understand a lot of the kids today. So I don't understand their lingos and the whole mentality.
Has it got like social media in it and stuff?
No, it doesn't quite have social media, but it's a lot of, it's very millennial.
I saw the trailer. And does it have, when they do magic, is there like sparkles and glitter?
There's a little bit of sparkles and glitter.
What?
I don't know. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. I would not watch it again. And anyone who I know, like, I had a few different people saw that I watched it and asked, like, was it okay? And I'm like, don't watch it.
Oh, really?
I mean, look, watch it, but if you are a huge fan of the Craft, like, it's kind of like this whole Ghostbusters thing, like, oh, it ruined my childhood. I'm not going to say that. It didn't ruin my childhood. You know, it was a sequel. David Duchovny was in it, you know.
What did he play? Like a teacher or something? Or
he plays, like, the dad.
Of one of the kids?
Yeah, so the stepdad. So this girl moves to a new town, and he's, like, her new dad.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have much to do with anything.
He does.
Oh, shit, dicks. Is he a warlock?
So I watched that.
Do they get all the witch paraphernalia from him? Is that how they learn about it all?
No, it's
or do they find it?
It's so these three girls who are in this town, they're a little coven of their own, but you can't have 3 people in a coven. You need 4.
Is that true?
I'm not 100% sure. Probably, because you need, like, you know, north, south, east, west.
Because they had that in the first one, didn't they?
You need
she can be the 4th.
all the elements. So they're out looking for.
They're gagging for a member.
Yeah, they are.
They're like, you know, the groups at unis. You know, they need more than 3 members to keep themselves alive.
Yes.
As a what are they called? They did them in Japan. What are they called?
Cults.
No. What are they called? Those like groups that they have at school? Clubs.
Yeah. So
think of that word.
Yeah. This girl moves to this town, and you know something's happening in the school, and they kind of like, oh, this girl could be like she's the one. So they bring her into the friendship group, and then you know they're doing magic.
All right, that's enough. Yeah. That just sounds like the first.
It's basically like the first one, but for a new generation.
Yeah, right.
So 12-year-old girls are gonna love this film.
Nice. What else? What else has been happening?
Other than that, look, I've started watching Truth Seekers, the new Simon Pegg Nick Frost show on Amazon. It's really good so far.
Is it comedy?
It is a very subtle comedy.
Subtle,
yes. So that's been happening. I've picked up a comic from your shop this week.
Did you get found footage? Oh,
I haven't had a chance to read it.
It's little. I was a bit disappointed in the fact that like it's playing off the fact of a VHS, and it looks like a VHS when you slip it out the slipcase, except it's too small.
Yeah.
Why didn't you just make it the size of a VHS?
Yeah, that would have been better.
It seems like that's the normal thing to do in a situation.
It's true. I feel that it, you know, maybe costs a little bit more to print it a little bit bigger.
Yeah, we're talking about a comic that is called what was it called? Found footage, which is this a horror comic based on found footage story. But they made the comic book. The outside looked like a VHS, except they made it really small. Like it's the size of what is it? The size of like a PSP.
Yeah, probably.
Like it's just too small.
Yeah. So I haven't had a chance to read that, but hopefully this weekend. Other than that, I've been interacting with some of our followers. So Beth, coolest chick from the grave, has been interacting with us a little bit on Instagram. And
shout out!
Cool. Shout out!
Excellent.
Yeah. How about you, Dan? I saw you on Hack the Dino looking super adorable watching some Mario Kart yesterday.
Yeah, we got that Mario Kart live circuit, which for people who don't know what this is, this thing is crazy. You get So you get a game, obviously, or it's a game that you download. You get a little Mario Kart, like a little remote control car, like a real car, and then you get some tracks, some like, what do they call it? They go over the track, like little gates that you put down in real life, and that reads. So there's a camera on the little car, and that can look at these things that you put down, and that augments reality into the actual game. It's crazy. So you can do Mario Kart in real life, and you have to actually see it to understand what I'm talking about. Anyway,
Yes.
I thought it was hilarious, and because I got in there and so if you go over to Hat the Dino and check out our latest episode,
Definitely.
and skip to that the live play section, we're doing that. But yeah, apart from that, I'm back to drawing again this week, so because I'm an illustrator, a children's book illustrator, and also when I draw, I watch stuff, so I get to watch a lot of stuff. So this week, I watched 3 things, which I'm not going to get into much, but I watched Vampires versus the Bronx, which I loved, which is basically like a modern day Monster Squad. It's like this, it's a bunch of kids that take on these vampires coming into the Bronx, and it's it's well written, super well written, like dialogue and stuff like that. The vampires are vampires. They're basically just like Buffy vampires.
Okay, great.
They're coming into the Bronx because the Bronx is a low socioeconomic area, and they figure they come in as they're all property investors. So they come in and start buying up all the properties. Not to change the Bronx, but because in the Bronx people can go missing and no one cares. So they buy up all the low socioeconomic areas and feed off of the community. And of course the kids find out, and it's all like, and it's just like they fully like watch Blade in it to get reference of what they're gonna do, because
Sure.
and because you got these black kids in the community watching like basically the only black superhero kind of like at the time back then in the 90s. They're watching Blade 2, and then they call themselves the Blades. And, it's just wicked.
Yeah, it's on my watch list. I haven't had a chance to get to it yet, but keen.
Then I watched Happy Death Day to You too. No, to
you.
To You.
Yeah.
Which you have to admit now is a science fiction film. It is nothing to do with horror anymore. It's just comedy, science fiction, and I really enjoyed it. As soon as I took the label off as it being a horror film, and I got weird, like my science project and weird science vibes from it. I was just like, I love this. I love it. And people bagged it because it's not the first one, but this is taking it to the whole new level of ridiculousness.
Yes, 100%.
Because they're doing a third one, aren't they?
They are working on a third one, yes.
So they'd have to make it go crazier. The only thing I can think they could do now is they're going to do time loop, parallel dimension, time travel.
Yeah, that would be even better.
So it'll actually create the loop in a period piece.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So they'll be in that same day with the same shit happening, but in a different time period.
I love it. And as long as she comes back, because she just makes the film.
Yeah.
Without her
how fed up she is scenes are the best of her face, of how she looks so angry.
Yep.
And then I watched Hubie Halloween. Which, have you watched it?
No. I
really enjoyed it.
I'm dubious because it is an Adam Sandler film.
But Adam Sandler, dude, Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison, great fun
they're
films.
like 30 years old.
Yeah, but this is very similar. This is so Hubie is basically the water boy.
Yeah.
Up until halfway through the film, I thought it was the water boy character in modern day. I thought it was a continuation, that much.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't remember what the water boy's name was. So Adam Sandler is doing that, slightly disabled character and stuff. But what made me like this film is I read into a little bit more about Adam Sandler. I'm like, has he turned into, a fucking dickhead? And apparently he is the nicest dude ever.
Huh.
He is like every person's ever talked about and said he is adorable. He is nice. There is nothing wrong. How he's always like quite generally nice in his films. Like he always cares about grandmas and that. That's just him in real life. And I'm like, I can't argue with that. And when I think about it, there were a couple of stinker films and all the daddy daycare ones or whatever they were or whatever. The ones with the dads are all together, whatever those ones were.
Yeah.
He's still his films are nice, they're fun. And this one was great. This is everyone's in it. Bashimi's in it, Schneider's in it.
You had me at Bashimi.
Yeah. Oh, dude. And Bashimi plays a werewolf that lives next door to him, and he's just always is I'm not a werewolf. And he's he's just always trying to, and it's a conglomeration of all horror tropes in this one film, and it's just a fun film. It's not a horror, it's a comedy.
Sure.
and I really enjoyed it. And you got, I think it's Avery Jessup is the main girl in it.
She was the girlfriend from Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she just plays like a lady, like, there's nothing appealing about Hubie, but she is for some reason the town, like, babe, and she is just in love with him, and that's kind of the joke that she plays that character within these movies for some reason, likes the main character who is unlikable, and they really play on that. It was great.
Okay.
Anyway, that's right. All I did was watch shit this week and watch the election.
Oh,
in a beanbag, just glued to the beanbag, watching the crazy election, which has nothing to do with my country. All right, so let's move into horror news. Yes, each week me and Jen take you through the horror news that you need to know about. Welcome to Horror News.
I'm not a werewolf.
I'm not a werewolf.
That's cool.
What's been happening in the news, Jen?
So, before I start, like, this is a very interesting, I like the take on journalism because I was reading this article, on Bloody Disgusting, Gold. Zac Efron fights off ravenous wild dogs and mysterious intruders in survival thriller.
Is it called Gold?
It's called Gold.
Oh, I thought they were just saying how gold it is that Zac Efron has to do that. No, that's gold, man.
So this is a very short article on Bloody Disgusting. So they're basically talking about this new Adam Sandler film. The film will follow... Adam Sandler, sorry.
What's going on?
Zac Efron. The film will follow two strangers travelling through a desert who stumble across the biggest gold nugget ever found.
The welcome stranger?
They hatch a plan to protect and excavate their bounty, with one man leaving to secure the necessary equipment. We've then got a little blurb that says the other man remains behind and must endure harsh desert elements, ravenous wild dogs, and mysterious intruders whilst battling the sinking suspicion that he has been abandoned to his own fate.
So, it's about a man guarding a gold nugget.
Pretty much.
In the desert.
Yeah.
And, wait, hang on.
Yeah.
When you dig it up, or is this gold nugget like as big as a car?
It's like the biggest gold nugget ever found.
Yeah, well, isn't the Welcome Stranger the biggest gold nugget? It was that Australian one that the guy tripped over?
Yeah, probably.
That's why it's the Welcome
Stranger. Well, this is clearly bigger than that one then. So, this is a very short article, but what I found interesting was I was reading a very similar article. Obviously, Zac Efron, the world and the women, they love him. He's a good-looking guy. But this film is being shot in South Australia. So this is
Welcome Stranger.
This is a film shot in South Australia. Stan. So Stan is our Australian streaming service, very similar to Netflix. They are working very hard to create a lot more Australian content and fund a lot more Australian, movies and TV shows. So I find it very interesting that this article is like maybe 3 or 4 paragraphs, but then another article that I was reading on Film Inc. went into this full-blown detail about this. And the film sounds completely different on a different article. So
really?
This is being played up as like this whole thing, but realistically this could end up being like...
Do you reckon this might be one of those marketing ploy things where they're just like, drip feeding some wrong stuff, and then when it comes out, everyone's like, but what?
Well, it might not be necessarily wrong stuff, but it'll be like maybe that's 5 to 10 minutes of the film.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of thing, but that's what we're playing.
And the gold comes to life and eats everyone.
I'd watch that.
It's the gold monster.
Yes.
We all know that gold is haunted.
Well,
because there's enough cursed gold items out there, so clearly nuggets to be haunted.
It's very true.
And ghosts live in the ground, because that's where we bury people. So clearly... live in the ground. Don't you know that?
I didn't know that. I'm so sorry.
It makes sense. It makes 100% sense.
Yeah,
I have no idea about this film. South Australian Film Corporation, though. Shout out!
Yeah, so that to me is very exciting. Like, we're going to have Zac Efron hanging out in South Australia. We already know that he's in love with Australia. He loves us so much. He's probably going to move here and start having...
Australia's pretty good, man. Like, when you travel around the world, you realise that, like, still call Australia. No, but it's a really, really good country to live in.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Our quality of living, there is nothing to complain about. You get all those websites like Shit Adelaide and stuff, and I'm like, we all of us live here, and like me, myself, I'm a creative and I've got a great life. Like, you know how hard it is to be a creative anywhere else in the world? Like, as in I don't work, I create and live off my creations.
Yeah.
And that includes my comic shop. I created my own comic shop and stuff like that. It's hard to do that anywhere else. I couldn't have done that anywhere else. I couldn't even do it in Sydney.
No. Oh, God, no.
Yeah, Adelaide's even better in Australia, in my opinion. Yeah, go Adelaide. Woo, South Africa Corp.
Wicked.
The film corp. Anyhow.
The shooting is due to go underway this month, so there'll be more to report on in the coming weeks and months for this. Hopefully we'll get some first looks.
Yeah, and we might be able to actually walk down there and get some first looks.
We will. We'll have
with our eyes.
wade through the sea of women who are hoping to get a glance at that blue-eyed beauty.
The whale.
Yeah, because they love him so much.
All right, what's next?
Okay, this one's for you, Dan.
I know.
Jordan Peele producing a new take on Wes Craven's The People Under the Stairs for Universal.
Did we watch this together recently?
We did.
Yeah.
Well, and we say recently, it was like 2 years ago.
Yeah, I love this film.
It was a good film. I'd never seen it before, and you're like, hey, let's check this film out. And
Yeah, it's because it's one of those weird films that it's a horror film, but it's like not a horror film, but it is. It's like, there's no supernaturalness to it, but it's got this really adventure element to it that I really like. So for those who don't know what People Under the Stairs are, Wes Craven film. Basically, it's like a low socioeconomic neighborhood, mainly like black community, and it's poor except for one house on the street, which are the people that own all of the properties in the town, who basically take all the money from the community, and they're just this brother and sister who live in this house, and they're horrible.
Yeah.
And that's all you really know about it. So they're basically keeping their whole community poor by them being rich. And it's about a kid named Fool, and he's like a young kid, and he gets convinced to break into the house with these older, badder dudes. And when they break in there, they don't realize that this brother and sister couple, who are also lovers, have like fortified their house. So once you're in there, you can't get out. And then they hunt people inside the house. And there's already like 20 people that are held captive in there some of them have gotten out, but they're trapped in the house, so they live within the walls and stuff. And it's about like these two crazy people that dress up in gimp suits and hunt people in their house, which they've completely soundproofed and stuff. So it's a house built for hunting.
Yeah.
And it's about these people trying to get out this house. And it's such a good idea. And it's so well executed. And then at the end, it just turns into basically this violent Home Alone.
Yep.
So like all the traps and shit get put back onto these two horrible couple, and it's so violent and it's so good. Like, it's such a fun ride. And the fact that they're remaking this, they could go ham on this idea.
Well, that's the thing. And, I mean, as we know, so, like, obviously Jordan Peele's production company, Monkey Paw, they will be doing it. Now, there's no word that Peele's going to be directing. I think it's just produced by, which, having a name on something is still just as good. He'll probably have, like, quite a big hand in it. And I feel that this is so... Everything that you've explained, it's so relevant to today's social.
Social climate.
Yeah,
of like how stuff's working at the moment in like poorer communities and stuff like that, and just and the thing is as well, it's just I don't know if it's ham-fisted or anything in this, but they're just the whitest white people, couple, and the fact that they're brother and sister and they're together and like they're trying.
Well, this is the thing, and so Jordan Peele has. I mean, he stated before, he has no intention of making films with, like, a lot of white people. He's like, I've seen that film, it's been done, I'm creating my own thing. So I think they are going to be the whitest of white people.
Yeah, they should make them blonde and blue eyes and,
yes.
fucked up.
Yeah, so it'll be very interesting. And I think because of the current horror, sort of where we are with horror at the moment, the A24, which is all slow burning, very beautiful, but very horrific. It sits with you long after you've left the cinema.
Yeah.
I feel that there's a
bit of that for this.
But
there's still the there's still the Home Aloneness to this film, which is like, at the end, which like really tops the cherry on the cherry on top in this film. Once it goes like, because if you remember, the kid actually chooses to go back after he gets in the house, gets out and chooses to go back to fuck them up.
Yes,
and it's so good.
Yeah.
I love that film.
So I'm very, very excited for this. I think that they can go very, very far with this, and it could end up being quite.
Yeah, because I don't mind, because even in this original one, like, the stuff that happens to that couple, the evil couple, would kill you.
Yeah.
Like, the one stage he drops a brick into the dude's face from, 4 stories, straight down a chimney, shoot into his face, which would kill you, but, in that, it just puts a brick a brick mark on his face. And I love that. I'm fun.
Jordan Peele, we know Jordan Peele is hilarious. He is a funny guy.
Yeah, so
there's going to be that great sense of humor to it as well. So I'm very, very
And they're really, and also as well, they're super religious, the white couple. So they're like, and they what is it? Their thing is they say burn in hell. Yeah. May they all burn in hell. And they say it together as if it's a religious prayer. And I'm like, oh man,
they're so basically going to get that couple that was seen on the front of their property holding guns. That very white couple. They'll just get those in. That'll be there.
They'll just go down to the polling booth and get some Trump supporters, pop them in the film. All right.
So yeah, no, I'm very excited for this. You're very excited for this.
Oh man,
definitely be keeping a close.
Are there any dates or anything?
No dates as of yet. I think it was only just announced. This was announced pretty much the day after we'd recorded.
Holy shit! It's 29 years old. That film.
I know. Maybe we should do a rewatch in an episode soon.
29.
Yeah, do you feel old? Well,
I remember when it came out. I remember we got it. I saw it when it was new, and I was bedazzled by it. That's not even a word that you get. That's not even an emotion. Bedazzled.
It could be.
It is now.
It is.
And and I watched it recently, and it still holds up. So I was just like, if a film can hold up, and this is Wes Craven, like, you know, moving away from that kind of like horror and just doing the serious side, but it still ends up being like fun and stupid in the end.
Well, it's got the kid from the Mighty Ducks as well.
Oh, is it?
The young black kid that's in it who's gone into the house, who chooses to go back in.
Yeah.
He's one of the kids from Mighty Ducks.
See, I can't remember Mighty Ducks that well.
See, we've got it. We do have a bit of an age difference sometimes.
No, I remember Mighty Ducks, and I watched it. I just chose to forget it.
See, I, however, have chosen to rewatch it several times.
What about the Sandlot kids?
I haven't watched that in years. Couldn't tell you anything about that.
There you go. Anyhow, moving on.
Here we are. So Searchlight and Claire Foy head back to the 1930s for horror movie Dust. So this is
Dust, Gold.
Yeah, right. I was literally just going to say
Gold Dust.
Right? The two films will be intertwined. It'll be great. So there's not a lot to report on this. Will Jones and Carrie Krause are directing. Krause also wrote the script for Westworld. So the story is set against the backdrop of increasingly horrific dust storms in 1930s Oklahoma, and tells of a young mother who's played by Foy, haunted by the past, who becomes convinced that a mysterious presence is threatening her family and takes extraordinary measures to protect them.
Well, we all know that ghosts are from the ground.
Well, they're from the dust now, Dan.
No, well, dust is part of the ground. So there's no...
I can't argue with your
It's
logic.
a well-known fact that ghosts get transferred into dust, and that's how they move around. So...
Sure. Yep. So that is literally all there is to report on this.
Haunted by a ground ghost. Weird.
I feel that this has been done before.
What,
in
Dusty?
Some way.
Dust ghost?
Yeah. I feel that there is something very similar that's been done before.
Yeah, maybe. Not that I know. This doesn't interest me at all. I got to tell you, dust ghosts, they're boring.
Fuck dust ghosts.
Yeah, I know. I don't know anything about this film. It doesn't seem like the kind of one. I do like my supernatural films every now and then, but they really have to pull me in.
They're not one of your fortes.
No, but if they do pull me in, that'd be a really good idea. And dust ghosts.
It's just not grabbing you.
Nah.
It's not
sounds like a
tickling
Studio
your
Ghibli
fancy.
idea.
Well, maybe Studio Ghibli should come up with a horror film. Just saying.
Yeah, they did. Ponyo.
Never saw it.
It's horrifying.
I've still never seen a Studio Ghibli film in my life.
Really?
Not in its entirety. I've seen bits and pieces.
You should watch Grave of the Firefly. That is the most horrific film I've ever seen in my life.
Really?
And you ask anyone, mate. You ask anyone who has watched that film. You will see things in that film that haven't been put into any other film. It's so shocking.
Interesting. Everyone keeps telling me to watch Princess Mononoke.
It's a good film. That's just a good film. Grave of the Fireflies it's crazy. It's the most depressing. I've never cried as much in a film. It's so full on.
I really don't want to watch anything that's going to make me cry right now. I'm really...
You reckon that'll be the end? You'll just turn into like a dust ghost and
just
float away?
I just... Whoosh, I'll be in the wind and then
you might turn into a cry ghost and then live inside your tears for the rest of your life. And then soak into the ground and become a ground ghost. Which we all know is how originally they get in the ground.
exactly what we'll do. Yeah.
Yeah.
So no, I probably won't watch that anytime soon.
Fair enough.
But yeah,
What? As in Grave of the Fireflies or Dust?
both.
I added a news article on this week as well.
I know. I saw this article and I was actually going to bring it up with you the other day, but you've added it. So there is a Power Rangers Nightmare on Elm Street comic series.
Crossover comic series.
And I don't think I've ever needed anything more in my life than I have this.
Okay, so we know that we
Yes.
like Nightmare on Elm Street.
We do.
The question everyone's asking, or the Dust Ghosts are asking, is do you like Power Rangers?
I mean, I haven't... No, that's not true. So when we got Netflix, we binged all of the OG Power Rangers.
Sabans?
Yeah, Sabans. So whatever you watched in the 90s after school.
Yeah, you're pointing at me as if I've watched it. I've never seen a Power Rangers episode. I have no idea. All I know is that they're hideously, racistly coloured.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
As in, like, the yellow one is an Asian person, the black one is a black person, the pink one is a woman.
Yes.
Apparently in the original one, like, the yellow one was a man. Like that, in the when you see, because you know how originally it was
It's
Super
Japanese.
Sentai, whatever it
Yeah.
was called.
Yeah.
And they just took all the fighting from the Japanese show and then added in the white actors in the scenes. One of them is a gender swap. So one of them, I can't remember which one it is. I think maybe, is the Yellow Ranger a guy? No, it's an Asian lady, isn't
Yes.
it? Well, in the Japanese one, the Yellow Ranger is a guy. So
Yeah.
all the fighting things is just a guy dressed up.
That's cool.
And then you got obviously the blue one is the American, the blonde American.
Yes.
Have you seen that clip online where they're paying it out and then they have like, so they all get named and they're like, seems a bit racist. And then another dude runs in, another black guy goes, oh, sorry, I'm late. And they're like, you will be Black Ranger 2. And he's like, what do you mean? Like, what? Yeah. Anyhow, I don't know much about Power Rangers.
Yeah,
I know people
it was
love
big
them.
in my childhood, but I mean, it's not something that I would ever go out. I would probably never. I might own a T-shirt, maybe. Like I'd buy OG vintage kind of. But that's about as far as I'd go. I haven't read any of the comic series that they have released.
I've
since.
only seen the film that came out recently, which had the worst sound.
I did see that film. I didn't hate it. A lot of people did hate it. I didn't like the costumes, but that's just because I grew up with the tacky. They're not even tacky. They were amazing back then.
They were just
and
like
Elizabeth
lycra.
Banks is in it.
They were just like cyclists, weren't they, fighting?
Yeah, that's all I
It
wanted.
was like someone had just come to the top of their cafe and spilt their little like coffee that they were having at their break, and then they had to fight, and it was a bunch of cyclists attacking a bunch of I don't know, Christmas pageant float dwellers.
That's it. But the new film was great because I personally, I just really, really, really enjoy Elizabeth Banks.
Oh yeah.
And
Was she in it?
She was the bad guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I might have to rewatch. I didn't like the new one because the new film is because the sound was terrible. Like there was it seemed like whole audio tracks weren't in there for sound effects. Like someone would get thrown into a building and all you'd hear is just like a and like it was a whole building falling down. There was no stomps or bass or anything.
Yeah.
And I think later on I read that they actually had problems with their sound and they lost a lot of their like there was something to do with the sound. Like I full called it and then I looked into them like, yeah, there was an error in their sound effects or something like that. But once you notice it, it's really, 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 really noticeable. And then there's not many else. So the crossover that no one expected, but I expected because Power Rangers have been crossing over into everything recently. They have a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle crossover. They have a DC Universe crossover. There's probably another one I can't remember. Like so, the comics and the Power Rangers comics are very popular. Like we stock them. We stock the big storylines. There was like the Grid that came out recently. There's the Dakin. He sounds like a dude who just runs up behind people and just pulls their pants down and dacks them all.
Could deck 'em.
I'm Lord Dackham. So that's it. It's hilarious. It doesn't make any sense. Like, I mean, are the Power Rangers really... What are they going to do? Obviously, their dream power is going to be they can turn into their Power Rangers thing within their dreams and fight Freddy. And obviously, Freddy's going to turn into a mech.
I'm finally going to get like my mech Freddy because actually, did you know that this is a fun fact that we never sort of said in the Nightmare on Elm Street 3, they originally had planned for them to do envision a giant sort of transformer or like Megazord to fight Freddy, but budgetary constraints meant they couldn't do it.
Oh, they were actually going to come with their powers combined.
Well, they were like, it's going to be a transformer. I'm like, no, you'd want to put all their... You'd want a Captain Planet, you'd want to, like, Megazord it, so everyone comes in with their little things. You know, he's there going, like...
Yeah, using their dream powers, manifesting it into an animal which turns into, into
Exactly. Wizard Master, badass, that kind of thing.
I don't know what she'd be. She'd be a mink.
Big old syringe. I don't know.
Anyhow, have you heard that minks are being killed all across America because they've got coronavirus now, and it's a new strand that actually...
It's mutated.
And it, any cures that they thought they'd done now don't affect this new mink version.
Yeah.
And I just saw, like, the poor minks, man. They're just killing them in, like...
Well, because it's all on mink farms, and they've been trying for years.
There's 900 mink farms. They have to kill all their minks.
But this is... It's not great. Let me preface that by saying this is not great. All these poor animals are going to die, but...
They're going to die anyway to make mink coats.
It's great because they've been trying to ban and stop mink farming for years, and this is finally
going to shut it down.
Going to be what happens. It's going to shut it down.
They have the smoothest fur. Have you seen the minks, what they look like? Yeah. Without any, help from...
Are they as soft as chinchillas?
It's highly probable. I thought a chinchilla was a Mexican dish, so that's cool.
That's chimichanga.
All right, let's go.
Right.
So, yep, that's great. You can read the first 3 issues of this Power Rangers comic online for free now, if you want.
Yeah, we'll post the link. So I personally would like to read it, and we'll post the link on our Facebook, and everybody can read it.
We should have read them before, so we could actually have talked. I'm going to it now to see how this sorts out. So, issue 1, Power Rangers, Nightmare on Elm Street. Oh my God, I can't show you this. The cover is the cover to Nightmare on Elm Street 1, but with the girl, the Power Ranger.
Fantastic. I'm happy that it is the OG Power Rangers, so it is 90s Power Rangers by the looks of it, and that brings me joy because, let's face it, after I think the first or second movie, I just didn't watch it.
Oh my God, this is not for kids.
No. So it was stated that this is a mature series created by adult fans of both Power Rangers. So basically, people my age who watched Power Rangers as kids, this is their reimagining.
This looks great.
So, hopefully it becomes...
Oh, it will. I'm going to get this to my shop, definitely.
A physical release, and we can...
Oh, God, there's nudity. Oh, they're reenacting all the scenes from all the other Nightmare on Elm Street. Like the bath scene is the long-haired guy and stuff in the bath naked.
I'm okay with this. This brings me much joy. We'll post it. Everyone can enjoy this.
Yeah, right. Freddy kills the main bad guy. That guy. Anyhow. Oh, he becomes him. Say hello to Daddy, he says. Anyhow, let's...
We digress.
Let's move on to the homework. Yes, every week, me and Jen set ourselves a horror movie to watch, and then we got scene by scene and spoil the fuck out of it for all of you. Welcome to homework. What is our rating system, Jennifer?
Woo! Okay, so we have a lovely rating system. We've got A, awesome, everybody should watch. B, beer and chicken wing group movie. F, for fun and dumb. C, classic, that's worth a watch. G, good for its time but has not held up. We've got the J, Jen special. The D, the Dan special. We've got the W for whatever. S, which is shit, you should avoid. And we've got the McConaughey, which is the fucking fuck, just don't watch it.
Yeah, so that's our descending order of thing. I actually thought of a new one the other day, and it made perfect sense. In the middle of the night, I woke up, and I was like, oh, a new rating letter. And now I completely forgot it when I woke up. So I'm going to sit on that for like 4 weeks until I remember what it was.
I feel that we've missed out on the whole kind of U for underrated.
Oh.
Because there's these films that many people might hate and have been ragged on, but they're actual underrated.
All right, I'm putting in there now. U equals
underrated.
Oh. I stopped typing. Doesn't matter. We got it.
That's fine. We've got it.
We've added the U, which is not going to be obviously any of the films this week. Any of the film. Any of the ratings.
The one film that we watched. So this week we watched Pumpkinhead from 1988.
That was my pick.
Yes, it was Dan Speak, and it answers the question, what if you get a special effects genius to direct a film? So this film is directed by Stan Winston. The screenplay is by a bunch of people, including Stan Winston, and it's also based off a poem by Ed Justin, which is very interesting.
Who in their right mind reads a poem and goes, you know what? Make a great film. It's like hearing a haiku and going, oh, Lord of the Rings. you know, you know what? Oh, I can really get a 3-part trilogy out of that haiku.
Yeah, well, money.
I mean, there is 3 lines.
There are people who are geniuses, Dan, and they can do these kinds of things.
I think they're just visionary idiots.
Yeah, well, they're richer than we are. So it also stars Lance Henriksen, who we all know from Aliens and
As
Near
Bishop.
Dark.
And everything else.
He's always in something.
Yeah.
Always in something.
I like Lance Henriksen as an actor. He's pretty much the only acting force in this film. Mm-hmm. Like, he's the only one who actually knows how to act.
We're playing fast and loose with that.
Yeah.
In this film, yes. It also had a budget of $3.5 million. The box office gross was $4.4 million.
So it made more than it cost.
Yes.
Just.
Yes.
Not enough to make another film. So you'd have to make like 3 Pumpkinheads to justify making a 4th one. And then they'll be cut even.
Exactly. So just a little bit of background information. So for each of man's evils, a special demon exists.
Ooh.
A man conjures up a gigantic vengeance demon called Pumpkinhead to destroy the teenagers who accidentally killed his son.
That is basically...
That is literally the whole fucking story.
Yeah, that is.
All right, so next week we'll be watching... No.
All right, so...
Let's get into it.
So it opens up with titles, like, you know, Over Red Fire. So it's just they've basically just redicized some flames on the screen, and they've got this orange outer glow on the credits. So I was like, okay.
I like it. It's subtle but on theme.
Opens to a 1957 farmhouse with a hillbilly family. So we got a mum, a dad, and a young child.
Yep.
Hard hillbilly.
Yes.
Deep south. Yeah. I think it was south.
Yeah, the accents, again, the acting in this film, fast and loose.
Yeah.
They sort of slipped in and out of that southern
it's like
accent.
It's a windy, thundery night, you know, they're looking dubious, they lock the front door.
They're battening down the hatches.
They're
bringing
battening
the
down
horses.
the hatch. The dad's out, he's putting the horses in the barn, he comes in, he locks the door. I'm like, what's going on?
Something's happening.
Is this about a storm? Is this like big weather?
Well, funny, I don't know if you noticed.
That he brings big weather with him?
He brings big weather. He's got big,
we'll get into
big
that.
weather energy.
I know. Cuts to a man running in the woods. He's scared. He's running. He's
screaming.
He's falling over. He's snot running out his nose. He doesn't care what he looks like.
No. Well, he's being chased by something. We don't know what.
We don't know. Anyhow,
then he runs into a cornfield because that's where everything happens.
Yeah. Well, no. Then he gets to the house. And he knocks on the door. He's like, let me in. And the family ignores him. You know, the son's like, why don't we let him in, Dad? And he's like, can't let him in. No. Anyhow, so they're like, it's not my business. Get away from my family. So
yeah. It's like, my family's more important than you. I'm protecting my family at all costs. Get away from my front door. I got a shotgun here, and I'm not afraid to use it.
Yeah, he did say about he had a shotgun, didn't he? Mm. And then the man runs away up on a hill, right in viewing.
It cuts to him, doesn't he? He's all of a sudden he leaves the property, and he's then in this muddy ditch.
Yeah,
crawling through this muddy
Well, he's just trying to get away from big weather. Hey, maybe he's just he's scared of the ground ghosts.
The rains are here.
Well, the rain ghost now. Yeah, it's a corn ad. So he's running away, and he goes up. He conveniently goes up onto kind of a hill, which has the moon behind him, perfectly lighting his death. He gets grabbed by this monster, which suspiciously looks like the alien.
Yeah, there's a lot of.
As in, the alien from Alien.
It looks like the xenomorph. Yeah,
xenomorph. That's it. We see that the young kid sees this man get attacked by this alien, and now end scene. End scene.
The guy's dead.
Open to the present.
Yes.
Which we don't know what year it is. We can only assume that it's now.
1988.
It's 2020.
Shirtless Lance Henriksen, who wore prosthetic teeth to make himself look more
Yokel?
rural.
Local.
Rural was the word he used.
Really?
Yeah, because he didn't want to say redneck.
Or yokel.
Yep.
I didn't know that. He wore.
Yep, he wore some prosthetics.
Wow. Talk about, putting those people in a box and laughing at them.
Yep, well, that is very stereotypical, like...
So we learn. Lance Hendrickson, he's ripped, he's cutting wood. We learn that he was the kid.
He's old man ripped, so he's Iggy Pop ripped.
Iggy Pop rip. He's a leathery mess of muscle. He's a denim jacket zipped up with a whole bunch of logs in it.
Pretty much.
He has a kid himself who's basically Dennis the Menace.
I was saying, like, this kid wishes he was Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah, so he's got this blonde-haired, blue-eyed, glasses-wearing kid that looks nothing like him.
Coke bottle glasses. He looks like Macaulay Culkin from The Page Master.
Yeah.
Basically.
So, and his name's... I thought his name was Ed Hardy at first, but it's Ed Harley.
Yes, so Lance Hendrickson is called Ed Harley.
But I've just called him Lance the whole time.
Same.
Yeah,
same.
because Ed, it doesn't matter what his name is. It's Lance Hendrickson, and then there's a kid.
Yeah.
Anyhow, they lead a simple life. Doesn't seem to be a mother involved in their family, or any mention of her, or is it his child? Did he just steal it? Did he borrow it from the ground ghosts?
Who knows? It was he found it in a pumpkin patch.
Anyhow, oh dear, it's a terrible pumpkin patch to find it in.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's got a son. That's all we need to know. He thinks he's a great son. He loves his son.
He does.
They really get into that. Cuts to a bunch of fuckhead teenagers straight away.
Yep.
You just introduce these teenagers, which I will say, this scene, so it's a driving scene, right? So you got 2 cars worth of kids driving. They're chatting. It actually seems like the mics were on the outside of the car.
Yeah.
You couldn't hear any of the dialogue they were saying. It was such a faux pas. It would have been better to cut this whole scene out and just have them later on rocking out, because it didn't really explain much of them.
No. So as far as we guess, there's like 4 kids in a truck, and then there's 2 kids in a Lamborghini or something trailing behind.
Or a Corvette, like an old. It's not a Lamborghini.
A fancy sports car.
Yeah, it was like one of those olden day cheap sports cars.
Yeah.
Like a T-Bird or something like that.
Yeah, so they're off driving. Obviously, they've got dirt bikes in the back, which indicates to me that they're going for a weekend of dirt biking somewhere.
And we all know that dirt bikers are the most dastardly children and people in the world.
Well, I refer to one of the characters the whole way through this as Dirt Bike Jerk.
Oh, what did I call him? I think I just called him Fuckhead.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
Cut to some fuckhead teenagers. Worse. Just their dialogue. You're just like, okay, you're just cannon fodder. You're just here for the kills. And they really didn't drive home any of the characters very much. It's just like...
No, we don't really learn anything about them. We've got no...
All we know is that 2 of them are brothers, and one of the brothers is a badass.
Yeah.
Who's like, he's on parole because he's a badass. Which they kind of drop later on, that whole storyline of him being a badass. He just becomes one of the teenagers, which is weird.
Yeah.
Anyhow, we cut to Lance. Lance and his son, they run a little general store.
Yeah, I like the Harley, and then they've just crudely painted on "and son."
Yeah.
Grocery
As
store.
in the son suddenly just appeared, they weren't expecting it.
Yeah, that's right.
So they run Harley and Son general store. Mm-hmm. It's in the middle of nowhere. There's nothing around them. There's no reason to have this thing. He's got some produce. He basically he caters to the small amount of
Local
farmers that are in the area, kind
potentially
of thing.
anyone driving by. If this was a different film, this would be where the teens stopped off to get their beer and soda and jerky
And they get
before
warned.
they get murdered.
Yeah,
later
the
on.
guy in cabin in the woods that they meet.
He would be the guy that's telling them, "Don't go to that cabin. You're gonna die."
Yeah, but in true Pumpkinhead style, it doesn't have anything that good in it.
No.
So the hillbilly, and then we get so the teenagers rock up. Mm-hmm. One of them, the badass, the fuckhead, he takes his he takes his I call him Dickhead.
Yeah.
That's his name. So the Dickhead takes one of the bikes off and just starts riding around straight away.
He's not waiting. He's dirt biking right now.
Makes no sense because you really wouldn't. So he's riding this dirt bike around in the scene. Mm-hmm. The other people, there's one girl who her main goal is she just takes photos because she's, the art-sensitive journalist. There's a religious girl. There is the brother of...
Dirtbike Jerk.
Dirtbike Dickhead.
Yep.
Who basically is Sean Austin.
Yes.
like look-alike with the headband.
Yep.
I assume there were some more people that I can't remember.
There was one other guy. There was one other guy who looked exactly like the hillbilly kid.
That is true. There's another kid.
Yep.
And yeah, a bunch of hillbilly kids rock up in a ute,
Mm-hmm.
dirty as fuck, like, you know, their dad, and they start paying out one of the other hillbilly kids, and they run around him and they sing a Pumpkinhead song.
Yes.
You know, I can't remember what it was. It's basically a rip-off Freddy song. Like,
Yeah, so it's basically like this whole... Because the kid steals the Billy's little ball that he's throwing his dog, and I'd like to point out that the dog was also the same dog from Gremlins.
Oh, Barney?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Played by Mushroom. So the
Is that
kid...
what the dog's name?
Yep.
Mushroom?
Well, it's Gypsy in this film, but the real life dog, the actor dog, is called Mushroom.
Oh.
So the little hillbilly kid steals the ball, and he's got it behind his back. So they're like, it's a cautionary tale. Like, if you do bad things, Pumpkinhead's gonna get you.
Yeah, so Pumpkinhead is an urban legend, or the thing that they use to make kids toe in line.
Pretty much.
We learn about that. There's the whole story. We've still got the teenagers on the dirt bikes at this point. Now the brothers join in, so there's two of them now jumping around on their bikes.
Yep.
Lance Hendrickson suddenly...
Well, he leaves because he's got to go deliver his fodder to the hillbilly dad. He's like, where's my fodder? He's like, oh, fuck, I forgot it. Like...
So the hillbilly kids leave.
Yep.
And so for some reason Lance Hendrickson, Father of the Year, leaves his 6-year-old kid in charge of the shop.
Yeah.
Drives off.
Yep.
With a whole bunch of teenagers there. That made no sense. That was just an excuse. Like you also didn't need him to leave in that scene.
No.
All the next things could have happened, you know.
With him
he
there.
could have been in the shop.
Yeah.
And then it all happened the next scene, and then him come out. Because there's no reason for him to come out, you know what I mean?
No.
So the fact that he leaves is stupid.
It didn't need to happen. So
Yeah.
obviously, Doggo goes running out of the shop towards the dirt bikers.
He doesn't like the dirt bikers.
No, they're too loud. Those dirt bikes, they're loud.
They're
We've
gross.
got dickheads in our street that have dirt bikes, and
They're dickheads.
they're loud and dickheads. So obviously the dog runs out, so little Billy goes running out as well. You know, and then all of a sudden he's run too far, and one of the dirt bikers comes flying over him, misses him narrowly, and crashes. You know, wipes out on his dirt bike, and
Which is the good brother.
the good brother, and then dirt bike dickhead hits the kid.
Smashes him. He doesn't die.
He doesn't. I thought he was dead because I made a lot of notes going, this kid is the worst at playing dead. Because we just called him Blinky Bill because he just was blinking the whole time.
Anyhow, dickhead dirt bike doesn't want anything to do with it. They're like,
off.
we should go to the hospital. Pick up the kid. He's like, fuck that shit. Let's just bail. So they're really instilling that he is the fucking selfish prick of a fuckhead.
Yep.
So he bails. He gets in his car with his... Oh, he's got his girlfriend as well.
Yes.
He's got his, like, downtrodden floozy girlfriend. He's like, you know, with him because she's scared of him. I don't know what... I don't even know why they're traveling with him. It doesn't make any sense why all these kids would be together because none of them like each other and none of them, like, get along. It's weird.
He's just there.
Yeah. He takes off and they're all, like, disgusted. The other half bail to the hospital and the brother is left to look after the kid until the dad gets back.
Yep.
Anyhow, Lance comes home. He finds his kid. He gets angry. He takes it. He ignores the people. He's like, fuck off. Just get out of here.
This
And
is the
that's it.
hillbilly way.
The hillbilly way.
Yep. I smell revenge.
Yeah,
Revenge
I was
is
like,
coming.
take him to the hospital. He'll be fine.
But he takes him home.
He just takes him home, puts him in a bed, and of course the kid dies.
And then he dies.
I'm like, you idiot. Why didn't you take him to the hospital, you dickhead?
So
Lance, everyone's a dickhead in this film. There's a decision, there's plot. I feel they would have had a hospital or someone that could have helped. Even like, because what do people just like get hurt in this place and then just die?
Yep.
Yes.
That's my understanding.
Anyhow, Lance gets angry. He decides he's going out. He goes to what I can only describe is a child farm. It's just
Yes.
like 50 children.
There's no woman on this farm.
There's no women
There's
in this film apart from
the
like
kids.
the teenagers.
Also, one of them is the film debut of Mayim Bialik, who is TV's Blossom.
Oh.
It's her film debut. She was
Oh.
one of the youngest kids.
Yeah, right. So he rocks up to another farm, which has like, it would be 50 kids working on it, like childs.
Yeah.
Which are all run by one man He comes out with a beard and he's like, "What do you want?" And I'm like, "Who? How does he make all these children with no women?
I know.
Does he steal them?
Well,
Does he
there's
grow
a-
them? Is
there's-
it an actual child farm?"
The younger women, once they get older.
Yeah, that's what I was
I'm
thinking.
guessing-
Do the brothers and sisters fuck each other and make other brothers and sisters?
Well, there's a scene later on where I honestly thought that the brother and the sister were gonna like.
Yeah, doink. Anyhow. Lance asked the farmer man, the many-child man.
Yep.
I heard there's a lady that can,
Yep.
Like-
I'm looking for a woman.
She's got
in the
powers.
mountains. Yep.
And at this point, I think he just wants this woman with powers to bring his kid back to life.
Yeah, of course. He assumes, again, it's urban myth. Like, there's this clearly, like, the witch of the woods, the hedge witch. She's there. She's obviously got powers. And the beardy child farmer, he's like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. And he opens up the door, shows his dead kid, and he's like, oh man, I'm real sorry, but
You don't want to be fucking with that
you
shit.
don't want to be doing this. Like, this is not a good idea. Like, you gotta go. Just go.
Yeah.
So Lance Hendricks, he's like, fuck you, and shuts the door, goes off to leave. And one of the younger sort of teens...
I think the oldest kid within
Yeah.
the kid farming aspect of it, he goes, I'll show you, because he's interested to see if Pumpkinhead is real. So
yeah,
he
he's got this...
he goes, I know where the old lady lives, and
he's like, you're looking for Haggis.
is that her name?
Her name's Haggis.
Oh, really? I didn't realize that. I just called her old lady. So anyway, Lance goes to this swamp shack, which looked great.
Yeah,
The
I
swamp
loved
shack, I
it.
reckon they just found a location. It was great. Because there's no way then again, they could have used most of their budget on fake weed.
True.
This like shack that's all, got weed and swamp weed growing all over. It looks pretty good.
It's the anti-Disney house because she's kind of like this... she's like this hedge witch. She lives on the outskirts of town or in the swamps. And there are just animals everywhere. But she's just like this kind of old, scraggly-haired...
She's just like she's just sitting there at the fire, looking at it and like doing nothing, not moving. All she does is wait for people to come to her and ask her to do these spells, kind of thing. When she's not doing that, she's just
chilling out.
She's just hibernating.
Yeah, she's cool.
So she goes there and she tells Lance about a fucking pet cemetery. Basically, she said.
Well, that's what I said. Like, so yeah, he's like, I need you to help. She's like, raising the dead ain't in my power, but there's another way. But you're not gonna like it.
Yeah, we can get some justice for you if you want. Doesn't really read him the rules.
No.
Like, so
Well, no one ever reads you the rules, do they?
no.
Basically, he goes to this creepy pumpkin patch. Which,
Which has like a podium grave.
Yeah.
And he's supposed to dig up. Did she say what to do? You must have. I must have
I
missed
think
that.
she did. It was very, for me,
Vague.
it was very low. I had to turn it up quite loud, and also it was very dark at points as well. So I had trouble finding this film, and then I found it on YouTube. It's free to stream on YouTube, so I was watching it off of YouTube. Great quality. It's just a bit quiet. So he goes to this podium in the woods, and he starts digging and digs up this body.
It's like a weird body.
Yeah.
It's not a human.
It's kind of like a hybrid body.
Yeah, it's all what's the word, like crunched up. So
Yeah.
it's like it's like in somersault position. It's all dried up.
Yeah.
It's like this weird face on it. He takes I assume was go to the pumpkin catch, dig up the body, bring it back. That's
Yeah.
what she said, which
Yeah.
I missed as well. And yeah, he takes it back to the old lady. She does the old, like, cuts his hand, cuts the boy's hand, mixes the blood, makes blood soup.
Jiggles some things, does a hedge witch ritual.
Yeah, looks at a dream catcher, stuff like that. And she pours it on Pumpkinhead, which we assume is Pumpkinhead. Pours it onto this corpse, and it starts fizzing.
to evolve.
It starts. Wait, has he gone by this time?
No, he's passed out on the floor. Blood
Yeah, that's
loss
right, because
or
he cuts his
stress
hand
or-
and he passes out because the magic is too powerful.
Yeah,
Obviously, the magic is too powerful.
sure. Probably not the trauma that he's just experienced with his son and the fact that he hasn't slept. Although I don't really feel that he was as cut up about it
As you should be.
as you should be. Like, I mean, look, stress and trauma.
Adrenaline, maybe, as
Yeah,
well.
it all-
He's got, and at the moment, he still has this option.
Yeah.
Like, it's not all, he's not grieving yet because he still has the option that he might be able to, like,
Yeah.
in his mind, bring
Thinks
him
he's
back to
getting his kid
life.
back.
He's a simple thinker. He's a Trump voter. He, he's if he doesn't get his way, he's just going to take his gun and go shoot a polling booth.
Probably. Yeah.
Topical. So, anyhow, she pours this blood soup on this corpse. It starts to fizzle and mate. It starts to grow into, and within 4 seconds, it is a fully grown Pumpkinhead.
The evolutions for a Pumpkinhead was really cool. I think one of the little evolutions, it kind of looked like the aliens at the beginning of Night of the Creeps.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, that's cute.
Oh, yeah. So when it first sits up, it's a Night of the Creeps alien. So
like, oh.
So straight away, the best thing in this film is the effects.
Yes.
The puppetry, and that is what they spent $3 million on.
Yes. And
they gave $500,000 to Lance Henriksen, and nothing else got paid for.
It's like, we just found these kids round back. Like, they just wanted to eat that
that's
night,
what
so.
they paid to be in the film.
Yeah.
They're like students.
Yes.
That's not true. Yeah, so the puppetry was like, I was like, damn, look at that fucking thing. Like,
It looks amazing.
They did well with making it slimy. So, we said it before.
I love
Goop
my goop.
makes everything look great.
It's great. Yep.
Anyhow, it grows very rapidly into this full size, I would say it'd be like 7 foot high.
Yeah, about that.
7 foot high puppet Pumpkinhead. I don't know how they did a lot of these like shots. Like, there was obviously I reckon, was it a man on stilts, you reckon?
Quite possibly.
Because his legs bent backwards like a dog or whatever. He had like dog legs, like those backwards bending knees, and they still walked and looked wicked. And it was clearly someone in it, and an animatronic face. So it you got that whole vibe of it really existing and really being a presence that existed in real life. It was really cool.
It looked amazing and it flawlessly moving, and I just loved it. Yep.
So we get back to the teenagers. They've all panicked.
Yep.
They've split up. They've all met back at this cabin.
Steve's dirtbike dickhead's locked 2 of them in the bathroom.
Yeah, so they're all so dirtbike dickhead is going, oh fuck, I can't, you can't do this. He's basically turned into an evil man. He's like, no one's to say anything. Like, we have to. So he starts punching people. He starts locking them in cupboards. He's really driving a rift between them all.
Yes. He is.
It's a massive schism, and so there's unrest in the teenage camp. They don't know what they're doing. Anyhow, the brother gets back and goes, "Hey, it's all cool." But the guy came and got his kid. We're fine. Suddenly, everyone is nice to each other. Did you notice? Suddenly,
we've just figured it
dickhead
out,
who was
it's fine.
threatening to kill people, he was punching people and threatening to shoot them. Lets the people out the cupboard and goes, basically, it's all good now.
Sorry, we're okay.
We're
good
okay
now.
because we have to let it.
We gotta figure this out. We gotta get it out. We're heading out. It's time to go.
So Lance takes his kid home and buries him.
Buries him in the backyard. Yep.
Old backyard buried. Why not?
That's how it's done. There's no government records. It just seems very.
Well, that's because all the records are fraud.
Well,
They're all. You can't trust records. They're all frauds. Pumpkin.
Then we get our first kill.
We do. Who is it?
It is Steve. So it is the young nice brother. I was a little bit disappointed that this was the first kill.
You thought he would have been like the end girl, the final
Pretty
girl,
much.
Steve.
That's right. So Maggie, who is the religious girl, she goes running out of the cabin. She's crying, like, we gotta go, we gotta do this. And Steve goes running after her, and he's giving her this spiel, holding up her little crucifix, going, "This is what you're doing this for. We need to leave.
Yeah.
Like, we've got to,
Why would you ever be friends with a highly religious person who's not, and none of you guys are religious? Why would you even be together? Why, do you know who'd be cool to take out? Maggie, because she's so religious. That it works so well with partying in a cabin.
Yeah, right. That Maggie,
and dirt
she's
bikes.
so religious. Let's hang out with her this weekend. It's
yeah,
great.
it's like they got a list of shit they have to have there. Do you know who they forgot? They forgot the token black guy.
They did. There is. Well, I mean, it is. I'm guessing it's kind of like the South, so probably
Maybe.
not a lot of black people at that time
They'd already killed them all.
in that area. Exactly.
Yeah.
So Steve's, they're in the woods, they're having a good old chat. He's trying to calm her down, and then all of a sudden, a storm's here.
Yeah, Storm. So we didn't know this, and for some reason, Pumpkinhead brings Big Storm behind him. So
Yeah.
whenever he's in the shot, there is just like a massive wind and lightning effects from behind him.
Yeah, so you know he's coming because it starts getting real windy.
Yeah, he's a wind maker. He's a wind maker. That's all he is. So yeah, Big Storm comes.
Yep.
Oh, what's going on? And also as well, I think Big Storm was a good thing. Like, it just covers up any, like, puppetry fuck-ups and shit. Like,
exactly.
so you got flushing as in all the time. There's, like, a strobe light going on. You got wind everywhere. And then... Anyway, doesn't he get grabbed by the face? There's a lot of... Pumpkinhead resides a lot of the time up.
Yes.
He's a very vertical character. So he's in trees and shit.
I like that.
He pulls you up
Very
into trees.
Predator-esque.
Yeah, he's very Predator.
Yeah.
So he's like up there with his... Except he's not very good at hiding because there's a fucking big storm behind him. Where you just have to look where the storm is and that's where he is.
So essentially the studios approach Stan Winston. They're like, look, man, you do great effects. We want you to direct a film. And Stan Winston's like, oh, yeah.
What is a film?
What have I worked on? Oh, yeah, yep, no, this is great, Yep, we'll just combine all of these elements and chuck it in a film, and it's Pumpkinhead now, and I'm directing it, and it's all good.
Yeah.
Move on.
So yeah, Steve. Pumpkinhead takes Steve. That's all I've written. He kind of just takes him. You don't really see what happens to him. He gets pulled up into the trees. Religious lady fucking freaks out, runs home. She's like, the devil's here, the devil. Then we find out that every time Pumpkinhead is about to kill somebody, Lance Hendrickson gets affected, and he shares, like, he has like a linked consciousness with Pumpkinhead, so he sees Pumpkinhead killing the ring, and that's part of like the deal she didn't mention. So you have to feel the pain and emotions of every kill.
He doesn't like that.
No, he's like, this is bullshit.
He's like, I'm gonna go stop that. Not a fan.
So then he goes to see the witch first. Like,
yeah,
he goes and we'll cut to that bit. He basically goes and sees the witch and just goes like, "This is bullshit. Yeah. I didn't want this." She goes, just write it out. Let it get it through its course. It'll be fine after that. He goes,
fine.
No.
It'll stop when it's over. Just let it happen.
He's finally cooled down. He's buried his kid. He realizes that maybe I shouldn't unleash this hell beast onto these kids who I don't actually know which one even hurt him.
It's like, maybe I overreacted.
Maybe.
Go figure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, who would have thought a like deep South person would have overreacted about anything?
Very on point today.
Yeah. Anyhow, so where are we up to? What happened?
So we've missed the Maggie death.
No, we'll bring back into that. So yeah, Pumpkinhead he basically grabs Maggie, the religious girl. How did he get her? She just runs out of the house again?
Yeah, so I think she was on the outside of the house, and he kind of snatched her. Is she the one that he's smushing her face against the glass? And it's just like...
Later.
Like, her face is
basically,
just like...
First he grabs her, pulls her up into the roof, and he scratches a cross into her forehead like she's religious.
Now you're religion.
At that point you realise that Pumpkinhead is doing this for fun.
Yes.
He actually is tormenting them.
Yeah.
And like to his own fun. He's not doing it because he needs them to be fear for the souls or whatever. He is actually just a force that gets off on killing people and torturing them because he actually smiles.
There's a lot of smiling from him, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, he's just like, oh, you're religious, are you? Fucking take this, bitch. Hold it. Yeah. We see that, which is pretty gross. Yeah, and that's when then it cuts to Lance going to the witch and saying no, and then he fucking bails from her, and he's like, fuck this, I'm gonna go help these kids or whatever.
Yep.
And then we get the shot of all the people panicking inside, and you just see, Maggie's head at the kitchen window, and Pumpkinhead's clearly just holding it up like a puppet, basically just doing comedy, like, and then just mushes her face against the window.
Yep.
And then just smashes her face through the window and dumps her on the kitchen table and just leaves her there. Like,
and all this blood comes running. I feel that was probably
the best moment in the whole film.
Yeah.
Like, just the idea.
It made me laugh.
Yeah, so Pumpkinhead is clearly like enjoying his job. He's like, I got into this for a reason. I'm going to enjoy this.
Yeah, exactly. So then obviously they leave the cabin. They go running out. They're trying to find a car. Well, they're trying to find their cars, aren't they?
I don't know what they're doing.
Or they find that the cars... No. So they're out in the woods. They're running away.
They're running around in the woods.
Yeah.
Because they were safe in the house. I don't know why they left it.
Go into their cars.
And Pumpkinhead's fucked them all up. No, first Pumpkinhead takes Kim.
Yeah.
So Kim, just the other girl.
She's one of the girls in the film. Yeah.
She's one of the girls in the film. I think she's the photographer. No?
No, because she survives. I mean... Oh, spoilers.
Oh, yeah. one of the other girls that are in it. Pumpkinhead takes her again in the typical Pumpkinhead fashion, grabs her from the top, pulls her up into a tree.
No, that was the good one. I liked that one because she's just like dangling because he was up there kind of with this weird... It was a very xenomorph kind of crouch as well.
Yeah. So
and he's holding her by
he's got her
the
up
head.
in a tree, which is like probably 3 or 4 stories high.
Yeah, it was a very large tree.
It was a very high tree. We see him up there, he's sitting in there, so it's a big wide shot. We see this big tall tree with this little man. You can't quite see what he is. He's holding this Kim girl up, just drops her.
Yeah.
I thought this was really boring. Did you like this one?
Well, no, because I really liked the visual shot
of
it up there. I feel that a lot of the deaths in this film were not great.
No. And Pumpkinhead does them all in front of people as much as he can because he wants an audience because he's like thinks this is fucking heaps funny.
Yeah. Oh, he's really...
He's into it.
He's just like, I clocked done for the night and I'm going to give it my all.
Yeah, I'm here all week. Try the veal. I know. At this point, they've worked out that the cars are all fucked up. Pumpkinhead did a bit of maintenance on them. Pumpkinhead can do whatever he wants because there's no rules to him, really.
Look, I'm Pumpkinhead.
Lance meets up with the kids and he's like, I'll help you out. And they're like, didn't you put... Yeah, no, I don't know why.
Well, they go to steal a car. So they go to steal the car off of some other person's... They're on someone else's property.
Oh, that's right.
There's like a burnt-out car. Well, not a burnt-out. Just an old-looking car, which kind of reminded me of Leprechaun 3.
Yeah, an old ute or whatever.
Yeah.
Like an old Land Rover.
And they go to smash the window and the shotgun goes off and it's like, this guy is like, you guys... Get off my property.
Because he knows Pumpkinhead is after them. Everyone knows.
And they're like, Mister, you've got to help us. He's like, I can't help you. You guys, it's marked.
The big storm is what gives it away, I reckon, to these people.
You are marked, and he fucks off, and then Lance rocks up.
It might be based on, like, you know, the idea of, like, there's bad stuff in the storms with these hillbillies that would sit in their houses go, you can't go out tonight, curse night.
It's a real stormy night tonight.
And then, yeah, because Pumpkinhead bringing their big weather. Big weather, it's such a new term, eh? So Lance has now joined up with the surviving kids.
Yeah.
He decides he's going to shoot Pumpkinhead. So, what happens next?
So he shoots Pumpkinhead.
Yeah, so we shoot Pumpkinhead.
Pumpkinhead goes down.
Pumpkinhead gets shot.
Lance goes down. Huh. So not only do they share conscious...
No, it's not the first... Yes, first Lance gets hurt.
Yes.
And Pumpkinhead goes... He gets something with... He hurts his hand or something?
Oh, the dog. There's a dog that bites him.
Dog. Barney bites him.
Yep.
Because Barney, like, feels there's something up with Lance, even though it's his dog.
Give him a bite.
Barney bites Lance on the hand. Then we see Pumpkinhead go, oh, my hand. So, not only are they mind-linked, they're also pain-linked. And we all know...
The plot thickens.
And then at that point, you're like,
Really?
I know what's going to happen at the end.
Yep.
It's obvious. So Lance now... So at this point, if I was Lance, I'll be like, okay, I can't save these kids. I'm just going to leave, let it run its course.
Yeah.
I fucked up. I'll live with this. But no, he continues at it. With the only option really at this point, you know straight away, is like he has to kill himself to kill Pumpkinhead.
Yeah.
That's the deal he signed, the pact of the contract. So, and the only way to void the contract is to kill yourself or some shit.
I feel that this is probably what happened so I feel that the beginning of the film where little baby Lance is looking at Pumpkinhead killing the guy that he was chasing, it might not necessarily have been the guy that was being revenge was being sought on. I think
Pumpkinhead, they say he kills whoever gets in his way as well.
Yeah. Also, I feel that maybe, because we obviously don't see what happens with Pumpkinhead, are we of the assumption, because I'm kind of the assumption that once Pumpkinhead is done, he's going to get the person that has brought him about to exact his revenge. And once he's done, he can go back to his little pumpkin patch.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Now we're getting a lot deeper than what the story actually is.
So, Dickhead Dirtbike suddenly has turned into a normal character. He's no longer Dickhead Dirtbike. He's got a gun. He shoots Pumpkinhead as well because he's got a gun.
Yes.
He goes straight up to Pumpkinhead without any thing going, look, he's dead. Pumpkinhead
just grabs his leg because he ain't dead.
Yeah, Pumpkinhead.
This is a horror movie, guys.
Pumpkinhead automatically grabs Dickhead Dirtbike and he stabs him with... Pumpkinhead stabs Dickhead Dirtbike with the gun.
Now he's Pumpkinhead with a fucking gun.
Pumpkinhead with a shotgun.
I love it.
He conversed with the hobo. So, dickhead's dead.
Yep.
Too bad.
I kind of really wanted something a lot more for him. Because he was a dickhead. Even before he killed the child, he was a dickhead, and I hated him.
Yeah. And he'd already done something bad. They mentioned that was on like, the dickhead level.
Yep.
Lance gets hit by the dog. We worked out Pumpkinhead's weakness is Lance.
Yeah.
But he doesn't flip the other way. So if you shoot Pumpkinhead, it doesn't hurt Lance. So it's a bit of a one-way street, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit.
Bit weird.
It's fine.
Then we get the hillbilly kid. He, at this time, have we mentioned that he has come to help them? No, we haven't.
No, it's okay. So we're getting muddled because this film is so convoluted. So Lance rocks up at the Hewitt farm, which is Redneck Beard Child Farm. And he's like, I need your help. And it's very much reenacted from the original beginning of the film, where he's like, look, I got my shotgun here.
This is the second time he goes to Kid's farm.
You got to go. Like, you got to get off my property. And he's just like, okay, and just walks off.
Yeah, why did that happen?
And then, obviously, it cuts to the teen boy who'd help Lance get to Haggis. He's, gets up, gets dressed, and he's, telling his sister wife that he
wants to see Pumpkinhead.
He wants to see Pumpkinhead.
He's just obsessed with Pumpkinhead. He just wants to see if it's real.
I've got to help these kids. I want to see if it's real. I'm heading out.
So now we get... Hillbilly Kid has now met up with the group, and he just basically outlays the whole story of Pumpkinhead to us, the viewers. He's telling to the kids, they don't care.
He takes them to this burnt out church because he's like, this is like hallowed ground.
Yeah, and the church looked great as well. I reckon they found this church
burnt out.
This is where you get the best look at Pumpkinhead. You get a full shots of him. He rocks up. He brings his big weather. He walks, under the church steeple. You see him walking in. You see him, his face. You see his, stilt legs walking.
Picks up.
Because there's a lot of, up until this point, you see bits of him. But this is the point where you get to see all of him kind of thing.
Yeah.
The feet look great. I thought the legs of how they walked and how heavy they looked. He looked like a real big entity that was in the shot. I loved it. Pumpkinhead.
He picks up this little crucifix, like this wood crucifix at one point, and has a little smile and kind of he's just like yup, and just chucks it to the side.
Yeah, there's a little bit of humour in there. And they find a motorbike.
Yeah, this is at the point where they return to the cars, and the cars are all flipped and shit. But there's a bike, and
so one of them jumps on.
One of the guys who looks like the hillbilly kid jumps on the bike, goes to start it, and he's like, "Oh, it's not going anywhere." And Pumpkinhead's standing there with the
chain,
bike
and
chain.
I'm like, "Now Pumpkinhead is like,
he's got some humour."
Yeah, he set up a situation of comedy.
He did.
He's like, looking for something. Here it is, the chain. I took it off because I'm a mechanic.
I fooled you.
Fooled you.
Suckers.
So Pumpkinhead knows how to take a chain off a motorbike as well. Is there anything Pumpkinhead
He might have a day job.
I think he should run for president. It just seems like he has all the qualifications he needs.
I will vote for Pumpkinhead. It's fine.
Anyhow, that all happens. Does he kill the guy on the bike? I can't even remember. There's a lot of this grabbing.
There's a lot of grabbing and a lot of, that guy's dead now. But then he's not dead. He's just laying on the ground the whole time. So I'm going to assume that he is dead.
Yeah.
Because they don't really...
So Lance, at this point, Lance Henderson rocks up, grabs a girl, grabs a hillbilly, takes her to a secure location where he decides to make a flamethrower.
So I'm pretty certain it's back on his farm because at the beginning he had his little flamethrower and he was like burning stuff. But he comes out with this, it's this very mini montage of him getting ready and you're like, oh, he coming out with that flamethrower. We're going to have a face off. He's going to flamethrower.
So Pumpkinhead rocks up out the front of the barn. The kids are out there as well. Lance walks out.
He walks out and just...
straight into a pitchfork.
Walks straight into, and it's not just a little
it's like one of those real. It's a hay fork.
Yeah.
So they're really long prongs that are really sharp and long and thin.
It
just goes through his shoulder.
Yeah.
And he just walks into it as in when you walk through a doorway and your shirt gets caught on a nail or something. He just kind of walks into it like that and it just goes straight into it. I'm like, are you the shittest dude?
He's like, my body's like butter. This just went straight through me. It's fine.
Yeah, but it gives us another opportunity to show that Pumpkinhead, you're hurt now as well. Hang on, my shoulder's hurt.
Yeah, Pumpkinhead's
your shoulder's hurt, Pumpkinhead. Hang on. Do 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 do. Wait up. If I hurt me, it hurts Pumpkinhead.
Convenient, really.
Yeah, I know. So Lance goes over to he gets off the fork. He goes over to flamethrower Pumpkinhead. Pumpkinhead whacks him away or some shit. You know, fuck off, cunt. Lance is he's all fucked up now.
Yeah.
He's like, he crawls into a car and grabs a gun.
Yeah.
There's a car there with the gun in the glove box. I think they referenced earlier on in the film. Did they?
Possibly.
Don't know. Doesn't matter.
Here is where I have an issue. Because there's no other issues throughout this whole film. This whole film is perfect up until this one point. He shoots himself in the head, but then walks out of the car
And falls over. But, see, there are lots of instances where people get shot in the head. This is a hillbilly man. He must have a very small brain. Because I just assume it missed his small brain. So, if you can imagine, he has a brain the size of a lemon and the size of a human skull. So it's easy to miss his brain.
Sure.
So he misses his brain with the first shot.
Yep.
Even though it is in his forehead, it's in his temple.
Yeah.
It's pretty hard to miss anything.
You can't miss...
So Pumpkinhead gets knocked out, but then like Lance wakes up. Oh my god, I only shot myself in the head. I should have done it better.
I fucked up.
I fucked up. So Pumpkinhead then wakes up. So there's obviously he's grabbing the girl. Like Pumpkinhead's, you know, it's a tense moment. So Lance,
he's trying to reach for the gun, which means Pumpkinhead's trying to reach for the girl.
Yes. Yeah, but the girl grabs the gun, shoots Lance 3 more times. I don't know how she knew to shoot Lance. There was nothing
Well, he's like, kill me.
Kill me.
So rather than just going for a point-blank shot through the head, she shoots him...
all over the place.
We don't even know where.
Just in the ankles.
Or one in the kneecap. That'll do it.
His Achilles heel.
Yep.
So the girl shoots Lance. At this point as well, we forgot to mention that Pumpkinhead is turning into Lance Hendrickson.
Yes. Oh, this was amazing. I can't
this
believe
was
we
the
forgot.
most shocking, grossest thing. So Pumpkinhead, we haven't explained what he looks like. He's a long beast. He's kind of got like big shoulder blade bones that come out the top of his shoulders. He's very like the alien. He's like elongated like the alien.
Yes.
He's got some shit that comes... Actually, we've got an action figure room over there.
We do.
He's got some shit that comes out his back like the alien.
Yeah.
His head is like the alien. It's a long head with a face at the end kind of thing. Like long as in horizontal head tube.
Yeah.
And the whole time he's kind of just had eyes and a mouth. And at this point he's suddenly grown a nose and he looks like Lance Hendrickson because he's linked to Lance Hendrickson. Anyhow. Lance gets shot. And then Pumpkinhead dies, and Pumpkinhead just self-combusts.
Doesn't she set him on fire?
No, he just
whoops
bursts up.
Whoomp, there it is.
And then we get and then that's the end. Yay! We beat Pumpkinhead. The contract is broken. The contract is broken, therefore Pumpkinhead's like, fuck, I can't do anything now.
Yep.
And then so we think it's over, but it's not. We get a last final shot. I'm sure there's a name in a horror movie for this, like, you know, where it's end. We see the witch burying Pumpkinhead again, but oh my god, it's like a weird version of Pumpkinhead.
Yeah.
But it's wearing the thing we forgot to mention.
Yeah.
At the start of the movie, Lance's kid makes him a little necklace.
Yeah.
Which is like a little doll or whatever, and he wears it. And yeah, we see that the weird Pumpkinhead that they're burying now has that necklace on, implying that Lance becomes the new Pumpkinhead that gets buried. Now, here's my thing.
Okay.
If Lance hadn't died,
Yep.
and Pumpkinhead had done his deal, does that mean Pumpkinhead would then have combusted anyway, and then Lance would have died and become the next Pumpkinhead by default? Or do you think because he broke the contract, he becomes the next Pumpkinhead?
This is a very good question.
Yeah, there's no answer, is there?
There probably is. If we looked into it a little bit more, there'd probably be some kind of lore to it. But yeah, so like my understanding was that Pumpkinhead was becoming
him,
and therefore
what would happen to him?
I kind of assumed that
he would stop existing.
Possibly, I was under the assumption that if he had have decided to just let it go, Pumpkinhead would have come after him
at the end, and killed him to become the next Pumpkinhead. Yeah. Final thoughts, Jen?
Look, this has had a lot of similarities to Pet Sematary.
The old burying and
resurrection. The acting is not great. The story is very paper thin, but the special effects.
Yeah, which is what drives this film, which is why people still like it.
Like-
There is a Pumpkinhead comic that came out just recently.
I have it. Yep.
You have it?
I haven't read
Hang
it
on.
yet.
Did you get it before you saw the film?
Yeah.
Oh, you're such a dweeb.
I know. I know.
My final thoughts were the Pumpkinhead puppet was outstanding. The story was just okay.
Yeah.
It was just okay. It wasn't bad. It was just okay.
Yeah.
But the teens' acting was woeful.
Yeah, it was.
Like,
Yeah.
you can't even think. I mean, I think actually the Hillbilly kid's acting was quite good.
Yes.
He was a good actor. He seemed like a Hillbilly kid. He seemed like he was genuinely interested. He seemed like an inquisitive teenager. That he didn't do anything really out of character. Or I understand that. You live in a situation where you're just like, you know, with the 50 other kids on a fucking farm in the middle of nowhere, you're going to get addicted to wanting something more,
Yeah.
being interested. And that was the only thing there to be interested in. So,
Yeah.
unless you want to work, you know, his life was just a whole life of just working on a farm.
Pig farming and then fucking
I could
his
see that he
sister.
would risk everything for anything apart from that. So he was a fine character. His dad with the glued on beard was pretty bad. Lance Hendrickson was Lance Hendrickson.
Yep,
He
pretty
did
much.
some okay acting.
Yep.
I didn't realise he had fake teeth. That makes it amazing.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I gave it a C. As a classic that is worth a watch.
Yeah, look, I gave it a C as well. So, as much as we've probably
Shit on it.
sounded like we've shit all over
I enjoyed it the whole way through.
I did enjoy it. It is something that I will probably watch again, and I do think that it could also be something that you could enjoy with some beer and chicken wings.
Well, yeah, exactly as well. It could borderline on beer and chicken wings movie, definitely. Like I said, but we've said this before, that when you go through a film scene for scene, you always like poke the holes in it. You see the holes. It makes it doesn't mean you don't enjoy it.
No.
And especially in horror films, man, they're there. The holes are there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It jumps between a beer and chicken wing. It is totally a classic worth a watch.
Yeah.
That you can enjoy with your friends with beer and chicken wings. Like,
Definitely.
There's nothing. It actually would work better with beer and chicken wings.
Yep.
Because there's so many, you can yell at the screen so many times with the teenagers of their stupidity, of how much of they're idiots and stuff like that.
This is like next level stupidity. And I just had no desire for any of them to live. Like, I mean, Steve I was a little bit bummed out with, the kid that died first.
The
He was
Steve
trying
Austin.
to do the right thing.
Sean Austin.
Yeah.
Steve Austin.
He was trying to do the right thing, and I felt kind of bad, especially that he was the first to go. But I didn't care about them.
What do you got planned for future homework?
Well, I thought we would check out 1987's Blood Diner.
I've never seen this.
Me neither.
But I do remember the poster. First
Yes.
they greet you, then they eat you.
Yeah, and it's got that really cool,
Man with the knife in picking out his teeth.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, that was always a cover that intrigued me, but I don't think I ever...
My hit prediction is that this is not going to be a good film.
I also agree with you on that, but I feel that this is going to be...
We would have seen... I feel one of us would have seen it if this was a good film, and I reckon I've got visions of people saying that nothing happens in it.
Yeah, okay.
But that could be Chopping Mall as well. Nothing much happens in that.
I love Chopping Mall.
Oh, okay.
Chopping Mall's great. Count your lucky stars that we've not done Chopping Mall yet.
Play us out, Jen.
Play us out. Okay, so you have been listening to TerrorVision Horror Podcast with Dan and Jennifer. We are a podcast available on all streaming services, including SoundCloud, Stitcher, Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, and wherever good podcasts can be found. We are also available on the YouTubes. Wherever you watch us, listen to us, interact with us, please like, follow, subscribe, all of the things that help us grow and become more evolved Pumpkinheads. We also have an Instagram. You can follow us at TerrorVisionPod. You can email us at terrorvisionpod@gmail.com. Let us know what you want us to watch, if you want us to discuss something, if you hated what we've done, if you love what we've done. Just interact. We're also on Facebook, and I love all the interactions over on Facebook, so do that too. Yeah.
And also, if you want to check out some video game stuff that I do, head over to Hack the Dino on YouTube or Twitch, where I do, we do a live show every other Friday, which is a 2-hour show where we hang out, we talk about games, casual hangs, casual chats, nerdism, stupidity.
And you're calling me a dweeb.
Yeah, I know. This week, we just recorded this Friday, just gone. We actually played Mario Kart Live Circuit, live in the studios. There's a bit of stupidity behind that. It's great. It's great to watch. We have a music quiz show at the end where we have to guess like video game songs and stuff like that. But yeah, check that out. Go over there, give us a like, give us a follow, give us a rub and a tickle. And that'd be great. But we all know, until next week, may all your dreams be nightmares.